If you've saved diligently and built a portfolio north of $1 million, first, congratulations. That's no small feat. But here's a twist most people miss. Once you shift from growing wealth to living off of it, taxes start playing by a different set of rules. And Roth conversions can be one of the sharpest tools to control those taxes over the decades ahead. We see this all the time. Folks who did everything right, yet are shocked by their tax bill once required minimum distributions hit. Today, I'll walk you through 7 things to know about Roth conversions, and I'll share a few life stories from people who've used the strategy to save 6 figures in taxes and give themselves more control in retirement. Number 1, it's about tax rate arbitrage. A Roth conversion is paying tax now so you don't have to pay later. The trick is knowing when now is cheaper. A couple I worked with, we'll call them Mike and Susan, retired at 63 with about $2.2 million. Most of it was in pre-tax dollars, IRAs, and 401ks. And when they stopped working, their income dropped way down. We realized they had about a 5-year window before the required minimum distributions would hit, and they were sitting in the 12% and 22% tax brackets. So one of the ideas that we came up with is, why don't we move things within a certain tax bracket? So we converted about $150,000 a year during that window. That way we could reduce their overall tax liability in the future. So when their RMDs finally started, their balances were much lower and the Roth was growing tax-free. They'll save an estimated $600,000 in taxes over their lifetime. That's just the power of using low tax years and tactical and strategical ability here when it comes to retirement planning. That will give them a lot more money over their lifetime and save them a lot from taxes. Number 2, conversions create a tax ripple. Conversions don't just affect your income tax bracket, they ripple. When I met with Jack, he told me he did a large $300,000 Roth conversion to get it over with. What he didn't realize is it pushed his Medicare premiums up by $6,000 the following year, made 85% of his Social Security now taxable, and triggered the 3.8% net investment income tax. The lesson here, a big conversion can trigger hidden taxes that sneak up on you. It's not just about what tax bracket you are in, it's what thresholds will this push you past this year. Smart planning will layer conversions just below those thresholds, so that doesn't happen. Number 3, you don't have to convert all at once. A Roth conversion isn't an all or nothing. You can do it in chunks. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa had about $1.8 million saved and wanted to convert it all to a Roth. Instead, we showed her how to spread conversions over 8 years, keeping her in the 24% tax bracket, which she was comfortable with. That pacing saved her about $180,000 in taxes compared to converting it all at once and getting shoved into the higher tax bracket, such as a 37% tax bracket for a single year. Think of it as gradually draining a pre-tax lake into a Roth river over time. Number 4, time horizon matters. Roth conversions shine when they have time to grow. Let me share an example. Tom, who converted about $500,000 at 62 and let it grow tax-free until 75, versus Anna, who converted at 74 and planned to spend it at 76. Tom's growth far outpaced the taxes he paid, versus Anna barely broke even because there wasn't enough time for the compounding to work. That's why conversions are usually front-loaded in early retirement after you stop working, but before RMDs begin. Not all is lost if you haven't started required minimum distributions, or if let's say you've already started required minimum distributions, not all is lost. You can still do Roth conversions and it still might make sense for your plan. Some of us look at the RMDs and say, what if I could get away with a loophole? What if I could convert my RMDs? Well, unfortunately, you can't convert your RMDs. You have to move anything that is an RMD to a after-tax account, and if you're not working anymore, you can't contribute that money to a Roth IRA. So the only thing we can convert then at that point is anything over and above your required minimum distributions. Now, depending on where your required minimum distributions is and all the other taxes that or all the other income that you might have, it still might make sense to do some Roth conversions. So not all is lost. So make sure you look at the timing, See if it makes sense for you, or to get some clarity on to do a Roth conversion or not. Getting a custom timeline would be really good there. Number 5 is legacy planning leverage. Here's something many people overlook. Roth dollars are powerful for your heirs or your beneficiaries. Now, let me tell you a quick story about Mark and Julia. They had grown about a $3 million IRA. If you're catching on here, all that money in IRA is great, but it still has yet to be taxed. They didn't need all the money themselves, but they wanted to make things easier for their 2 daughters. So by converting a portion of the Roth each year, they not only reduced their future RMDs, but they ensured their daughter could stretch that Roth growth tax-free for 10 years after inheriting. Now at the 22% tax rate, likely save their daughters from paying at the 37% tax rate later, because if they were to pass away and leave all that money in IRAs to their daughters, they have to take that money out over 10 years, and that could potentially push them up into a higher tax bracket. So you have to decide, do you want to pay the IRS now and be at a lower rate, or would you rather just gift that money to your kids and they can pay the higher rate? Now, here's the thing. I get that when you're leaving money behind, sometimes people are like, well, they get what they get. They should be happy with it. However, I'm sure you didn't have in mind that you would pay the IRS as well. So if it was me and my family, I would rather just pay more to my family rather than more to the IRS. So that's where the Roth conversion planning can come in and really benefit your family as a whole, not just yourself. Number 6, market conditions affect the math. Now, bear markets can make Roth conversions even more attractive. Now, we don't always try to time the market, but if there's times when the market is down, it's a great time to look at doing Roth conversions. Because if you remember, anything in a Roth IRA gets to grow tax-free, and at the same time, if we convert stock shares at a lower value, then there's more likelihood of that stock rebounding, and then all that rebound would be tax-free growth. So let me give you a quick story. During the 2020 market drop with COVID, one client converted about $400,000 worth of stocks while they were down nearly 30%. A year later, that same money had grown back, and all that rebound was completely tax-free. So converting a down market is like paying tax on seeds and then harvesting the crop tax-free later. Number 7, it's best done with a plan. This is not a back of the napkin kind of idea or move. You can't just say, hey, I want to just do some Roth conversions this year. You should really plan it out. That way you don't jump into a higher tax bracket than you want to. You're in a tax bracket you're comfortable with. You're making the right strategic moves so you know what taxes you're paying instead of just willy-nilly throwing the money away. So let me give you a quick story. One couple came to us after doing conversions on their own. They had converted about $1 million in 1 year, pushing them into the top tax bracket and doubling their Medicare premiums. With 7-figure portfolios, the margin for error is big. The best approach is blending, using multi-year tax projections, looking at your income needs, the Social Security timing, required minimum distribution forecasts. Understanding where you might be in the future is going to be the best plan to figure out how much you should move each year. Done right, Roth conversions give you control over your tax future rather than letting Congress and the IRS control it for you. Roth conversions aren't magic. They're not this magical tool or the silver bullet that's going to make everything tax-free. They're going to make things more tax efficient, and it may or may not be the thing for you. But they are very powerful, especially if you've saved well and want to protect what you've built. Understand these 7 principles can help you see where this strategy fits into your plan and give you more confidence, more control, and even a little bit more peace of mind. If this gave you some clarity, feel free to subscribe. We break down complex retirement strategies into plain language so you can retire on your terms. My name is Vince Oldre from CFG Retirement. Thanks for watching.